The Dnepropetrovsk Maniacs. The hammer beheading murders. The Dnepropetrovsk Maniacs were a pair of teenage boys from Dnepropetrovsk, Ukraine, who became notorious for a series of brutal murders in the summer of 2007. Over the course of a month, the two teenagers, Igor Supranyuk and Viktor Syenko, killed 21 people in a shocking spree of violence that involved sadistic torture and mutilation. The case drew international attention not only because of the extreme brutality of the murders but also because the killers recorded many of their attacks on video, with some of the footage later leaking online. Background of the Dnepropetrovsk Maniacs. Igor Supranyuk and Viktor Syenko were both born in 1988, and grew up in Dnepropetrovsk, a city in central Ukraine. By most accounts, the two came from relatively normal backgrounds, though there were early signs that they harbored disturbing tendencies. They were childhood friends and had known each other since elementary school. As they reached their teenage years, Supranyuk and Syenko became increasingly withdrawn and fascinated with violence. They were known to engage in animal cruelty, with some reports suggesting they enjoyed torturing small animals for fun. This sadistic behavior would later escalate to include human victims. The duo also recruited a third friend, Alexander Hansa, who participated in some of their earlier criminal activities, such as robbery. However, Hansa did not take part in the murders, which became the focus of Supranyuk and Syenko's deranged fantasies. The murder spree. The Dnepropetrovsk Maniacs began their killing spree in June 2007. Over the course of a month, they murdered 21 people, mostly targeting vulnerable individuals such as homeless people, the elderly, women, and men walking alone at night. Their method of killing was particularly brutal, often involving hammers, metal bars, and other blunt objects. Some victims were also tortured before being killed. The maniacs would ambush their victims in remote areas, such as wooded parks or deserted roads, and attack them with extreme violence. After rendering their victims unconscious, they would continue to beat them to death. In some cases, the victims were also mutilated, with Supranyuk and Syenko taking particular pleasure in disfiguring their faces and bodies. One of the most horrifying aspects of their crimes was that they filmed many of the murders on a mobile phone. These videos captured the full extent of their sadistic acts, showing them laughing and joking as they tortured their victims. They treated the murders as a form of entertainment, with the videos later being used as evidence in their trial. The most notorious murder, Sergei Yarzenko. One of the most widely known murders carried out by the Dnepropetrovsk Maniacs was that of Sergei Yarzenko, a 48-year-old man. Yarzenko, who had been forced to retire due to health problems, was killed on July 12, 2007, while riding his bicycle along a quiet road. Supranyuk and Syenko ambushed him and attacked him with a hammer and screwdriver. They filmed the entire assault, which later became infamous when the video, known as 3 Guys 1 Hammer, leaked online. The video is one of the most disturbing pieces of footage ever circulated on the internet, showing the brutal murder of Yarzenko in graphic detail. The killers can be seen taunting and laughing at their victim as they beat him to death. They repeatedly hit him in the face and body with a hammer and a metal rod, causing devastating injuries. Yarzenko's face was so mutilated by the attack that it was almost unrecognizable. The video was later shared on various shock websites and became a symbol of the sadism and cruelty of the Dnepropetrovsk Maniacs. Authorities took swift action to remove the footage from most platforms, but it has continued to circulate in dark corners of the internet, further cementing the killer's notoriety. Investigation and capture. The killing spree caused widespread panic in Dnepropetrovsk and the surrounding areas. Local police were under immense pressure to catch the perpetrators, but they initially struggled to find leads. The seemingly random nature of the murders, along with the careful choice of secluded locations, made it difficult for investigators to track the killers. The breakthrough came in late July 2007, when one of the killers attempted to sell a mobile phone they had stolen from one of their victims at a pawn shop. The pawnshop owner recognized the phone from police reports and alerted the authorities. This led to the arrest of Supranyuk and Sayenko on July 23, 2007. After their arrest, the two teenagers quickly confessed to the murders. Police also recovered several mobile phones belonging to their victims, along with the disturbing video footage of the killings. The videos provided damning evidence, showing the killers' complete lack of remorse and their enjoyment of the violence. Trial and sentencing. The trial of Igor Supranyuk and Viktor Sayenko began in 2008 and was a major media event in Ukraine. The court heard chilling details about the murders, including how the two had targeted random people simply for the thrill of killing. Psychiatrists who examined the two killers found no evidence of mental illness. They were deemed fully aware of their actions and the harm they were causing. Supranyuk and Sayenko showed little remorse during the trial, and they even smirked and joked at various points. Their lack of empathy shocked the public, and there were widespread calls for the harshest possible punishment. The third accomplice, Alexander Hansa, was also tried, though his involvement was limited to robbery and other minor crimes. In February 2009, the court delivered its verdict. Igor Supranyuk and Viktor Sayenko were both found guilty of multiple counts of murder and sentenced to life imprisonment. Alexander Hansa received a 9-year sentence for his role in the group's earlier criminal activities. Motives and psychological profile. The motive behind the Dnepropetrovsk Maniacs killing spree remains a subject of debate. There is no clear reason why the two young men embarked on such a horrific campaign of violence. Some reports suggest that they had initially planned to commit robberies but later became obsessed with the idea of murder for entertainment. Supranyuk and Sayenko both admitted that they killed simply for the thrill of it, with Supranyuk reportedly claiming that he wanted to create a collection of memories of his victims. Their lack of empathy, combined with their enjoyment of violence, has led many psychologists to classify them as sadistic psychopaths. They derived pleasure from the suffering of others and treated the murders as a form of entertainment. The fact that they filmed many of the killings suggests that they enjoyed reliving the violence and were proud of their actions. Public and media reaction. The Dnepropetrovsk Maniacs case sent shockwaves through Ukraine and the world. The sheer brutality of the murders, coupled with the killers' young age and apparent enjoyment of their crimes, made it one of the most disturbing criminal cases in recent memory. The leaked video of Sergei Yarzenko's murder, in particular, caused widespread outrage and revulsion, with many people demanding stricter controls on violent content online. The case also highlighted the ease with which violent content can be spread on the internet. Despite efforts to remove the video from mainstream platforms, it continues to circulate in various dark corners of the web, contributing to the killer's grim legacy. Legacy and impact. The case of the Dnepropetrovsk Maniacs remains one of the most infamous serial murder cases in modern history. The killers' complete lack of remorse, combined with the horrific nature of their crimes, makes them a symbol of extreme sadism. Their use of video footage to document their murders added another layer of horror, as it allowed the world to witness the unspeakable acts they committed. Supranyuk and Sayenko are currently serving life sentences, and there is little chance of them ever being released. The case continues to be studied by criminologists and psychologists as an example of extreme psychopathy, and the dangerous allure of violence for certain individuals.